They left him behind. Not because they forgot him. Not because there wasn't room in the car. They left him behind because they thought he didn't matter. My nephew Daniel, he was just 19. Quiet. The kind of quiet that people mistake for weakness. And when my brother and his family decided to take that beach trip, 2 weeks in Florida, big rental house, photos by the ocean, they told Daniel he wasn't invited. Not in those exact words, but in the way people say things when they think you're not smart enough to understand. Daniel, maybe you should stay here. Someone should watch the house. You know, the important things. And he said yes. He always said yes, because that's what quiet people do. They say yes, even when everything inside them is screaming no. I'm Richard. I'm 58. And Daniel is my brother's son. The boy who stayed behind while everyone else chased the sun. And when they came back with their tan lines and their souvenir bags and their stories about the waves, nothing was the same. Not because something had broken. Not because there had been a fire or a storm or an accident. Nothing was the same because Daniel, the boy they had dismissed, had finally decided to stop being invisible. And the truth he had found, the truth he had protected with nothing but his own 2 hands, it changed everything. Not just for me, for everyone. They were gone for 12 days. 12 days of beach photos and restaurant dinners and the kind of laughter that comes from not having to think about anything real. And Daniel, he stayed in that big house. Not the beach house, the family house. The one with the old walls and the creaky stairs and the basement that nobody had cleaned in 15 years. And he didn't just sit there. He didn't just watch TV and wait for them to come back. He started opening boxes. Not out of curiosity. Not out of anger. Out of duty. Because that's what Daniel does. He does his duty. Even when nobody asks him to. Even when nobody sees him doing it. In the basement, behind a wall that had been painted over 3 times, he found a safe. Not a big one. Not the kind you see in movies. Just a metal box. Old. Heavy. With a lock that hadn't been opened in years. And inside papers. Not just papers. Proof. Proof that my brother, the man who had spent his life telling everyone he was self-made, the man who had laughed at my rough hands and my simple life, he had been stealing from the family business for over a decade. Documents, bank records, transfers, everything, all of it, hidden in a box that nobody had thought to look for, except Daniel, the boy they left behind, the boy they thought was too quiet to matter. When they came back, sunburned and tired and full of stories, Daniel was sitting at the kitchen table, not angry, not excited, just calm. Incredibly calm. And he had made coffee. Real coffee. The kind I taught him when he was 16. And he said very quietly, "Uncle Richard, you should sit down. I found something. Something big." And my brother, he laughed. First. Just like my daughter had laughed at my hands. Just like people always laugh when they think they're winning. But Daniel didn't laugh back. He just pushed the papers across the table. One by one. Slowly, like he was giving them back. Not with hatred, not with revenge, just with the truth. My brother's face changed. Not slowly, fast, like a light turning off. He read the first page, then the second, then the 5th, and then he looked at Daniel. Not at me. Daniel, the nephew he had left behind. And his voice was broken. "How long have you known?" Daniel said quietly, "Since the 2nd day. I was looking for a flashlight. I found the wall. I found the box. I read everything. And I decided some things are too important to stay hidden. Even if nobody asked me to find them." They didn't finish their beach stories that night. They didn't talk about the waves or the restaurants or the photos. They just sat there, at the table, in the silence. And Daniel just kept drinking his coffee. Like nothing extraordinary had happened. Like he hadn't just changed the entire direction of a family's life. And I realized, sitting there with my rough hands around my own cup, that the people we underestimate are usually the ones who see the clearest. The ones who work in silence. The ones who don't need to be praised for doing what's right. They just need to know that someone, finally, is watching. My brother tried to deny it. Of course he did. He said the papers were fake. He said Daniel had made a mistake. He said everything people say when the truth catches up with them. But Daniel had made copies. Not one. Not two. Copies for lawyers. Copies for the police. Copies for me. Because Daniel understands something that most people forget. The truth isn't just something you find. It's something you protect. And he had protected it. Not for revenge. Not for attention. For the family. For the name. For everything that had been built on lies but deserved to stand on something real. The beach trip ended differently than it started. They came back thinking nothing would change. Thinking Daniel would stay quiet. Thinking the past would stay buried. But some things, the important things, don't stay buried. They rise. Not with noise. Not with anger. Just with patience. Just with the quiet strength of a boy who knew his worth even when nobody else did. Now, when I think about that kitchen table, I don't think about betrayal. I think about the boy who stayed back. And I think the people we underestimate are usually the ones who see the clearest.